cruising along down Gene Autry, and we're just about 195, which is way better than where you were when you pulled up. I'm gonna go drive into some traffic, go through downtown, maybe take a one exit trip down the freeway and see where we end up. Right, so one of my temperature tests is I always go through arrivals and departures at the airport because it's slow, there's lots of speed bumps, and it's trafficy. So I always do that, and then I head downtown. After driving stop and go all the way up and down downtown, she's at like 220, 225, but dropping as soon as we get moving, it just drops down to 210. All right, so got her back here to the shop. She behaved really well, and part of me's questioning the accuracy of this temp gauge, because right now it's sitting at 230. But I mean, I drove it through stop and go traffic. I drove it all over town. I went 2 exits down the freeway and back, and it dropped to below 200 on the freeway. I was going about 60, 65, just cruising, real gentle throttle. You know, these things don't like being flogged on, mainly because they're not made to go 75, 80 down the road. The one thing that is missing on this car, which is kind of driving me nuts, and which is also hurting our cooling, is there needs to be in here something sealing this to prevent the air from going over the radiator. So eventually we'd like to see that done, because you want to seal this thing off. You've got to make it so the air can't escape and it has to go through the radiator. That's cooling system 101. But I checked the timing. It was advanced about 10 degrees too much. So I took about, I took 10 degrees out. So now we're spot on the mark with the vacuum line off, of course. So we are styling mucho better. That piece I'm talking about bolts in these holes, and it comes down like this. You need everything you can to force air through the radiator. Like for instance, I'll take you over to here. This thing, basically the same motor, probably makes more power. Well, it definitely makes more power. Note how we have our radiator. It's ducted to the grill. It's completely sealed. This thing on track never cracks 190, and we are never below 4,000 RPM. So, and I mean, we're not going more than, I don't want to show 85, 90. So, getting air in the radiator is key, boys and girls. The one plus with this thermostat and the way the system's actually plumbed nicely is it actually cools off after you park it a lot quicker. I mean, beforehand it was sitting at above 200, for hours, and here it's only been 20 minutes. All right, going back out for a second cruise after taking about 10 degrees of timing out, which that'll make it run hot. We're right about 190, 195. pulling out the gate here. We're just going to go down Gene Autry, get on the freeway, go down to the next exit, and come back. So I cleaned up some of the wiring. Yeah, I got the fans on, just so I want to see how much amperage they draw and see how much they're pulling. So I'm kind of letting them run a little bit. Anyway, there was a wire nut down here on the alternator. I soldered that. I soldered your horn wire back here. I know it's speaker wire, but at least I soldered it so it's nice. Same with your tack signal wire. This lead goes to nothing anyway, so I'm just going to leave it be for now. We'll get that when we dig in deeper. But I soldered up a couple things real quick just because I didn't like how they were and I wanted it nice and tidy.